So all Hugh's problems stemmed from his extreme prematurity. He was born at 24 weeks and 6 days. He only weighed 1.5 pounds at birth, which is 660 grams, so very, very tiny. He was subjected in his first couple of weeks to a number of quite serious bacterial infections, which meant he took a very long time to come off the ventilator, and had issues, lots of the major issues of prematurity. He had a duct on his heart that needed closing. He had laser surgery on his eyes. He had a bowel condition that affects premature babies, meaning he had to have a portion of his bowel removed and spent 2 months on long-term intravenous feeding, which left him with jaundice, which we then had to treat. And oh gosh, there's so much, lots of infections, lots of blood transfusions. And then eventually, as his bowel issues started to improve, we realised that there was a very serious and underlying issue going on with his breathing. And he had something called bronchomalacia, which is where the bronchi in your lungs are very, very floppy and not able to sustain you breathing in and out, particularly when you exert or get agitated. So his whole airway was collapsing down at times, requiring full red buttons in the intensive care unit, full resuscitation. It was absolutely terrifying. And the only way to get through that was growth and supported ventilation for several years while his lungs matured. So he ended up having a tracheostomy, which is an artificial breathing airway in his neck, and was attached to a ventilator for the first 2 to 3 years of his life. His brother's called Ted, and he's just under 2 years older than him. It was very frightening for Ted. Ted didn't meet Hugh until he came to St George's. He wasn't allowed into the unit when we were abroad. So he met him for the first time. That was, quite hard for him to take on. And then, because of the winter infections, he didn't then actually again see his brother for another 4 months across the winter period. So actually, by the time we moved to the paediatric intensive care unit, I think was when his brother was about 7, 8 months old, was the first time he really got to spend quality time with his brother. So that was very important at that point to try and establish the relationship, yeah. I think until you've been there and walked in our shoes and had a child in hospital and not appreciated the very small things that make such a huge difference, their warmth, their care, their concern for not just Hugh but us as a family, and how we got through the whole experience together, was completely invaluable. So I would just say thank you to everybody for making what was a very, very hard and traumatic time as good as it could be, and for getting us where we are today. You never think it's going to be you. You never think it's going to happen to someone like you. You never think you're going to need these services, but you will. There will be someone somewhere that you know, it may be you, that needs these services, and they make such a difference. They really, really do. Just to keep families together, to keep children smiling, to keep children engaged and less anxious about everything that's going on around them. And like I said, siblings too, like my oldest son benefited tremendously as well from the team. So please, it makes such a difference. The outside doesn't match what's going on within the doors at all. We've been to various other hospitals, and some look flashy, they look very different, but actually what you get when you go inside of St George's is just amazing. Like the expertise, the speciality, the collegiateness, the level of care, it's very hard to describe, but it's a wonderful place. I think more people need to go through the door. It's that you don't work somewhere unless you love it and you really care, and they're all still the same people, same doctors, same nurses, same junior nurses that have risen through and are now all like top nurses. It's lovely.